The freeze panes allows you to go ahead and select a cell, and then when you turn on this feature, it freezes everything above it and to the left of it. So with the cell, when I come up here, click on the View tab, and go to the Window group and click on Freeze Panes. I don't know if you can see the icon there, but the darkened cell there is the cell that you have selected, and if you select Freeze Panes, those other cells to the left of it and above it have lines through it, meaning that those won't move. So when I select it, you can see the splits here, and see if this makes sense. So everything above this row is frozen. So if I come over here and I scroll down, I'll always see these first four names with the column labels. And then since everything to the left of it is also frozen, it's these three columns. So when I scroll over to the right, then hey, that kind of worked out well. Now I don't have to scan past several columns to just go from Max Klinger to gross. That's easier to identify the person and their gross pay, just having it right next door, as it were. Now to go ahead and unfreeze it, we can come back up here to the View tab, to the Freeze Panes. It goes from freezing to unfreezing, and we're back to where we were. Now if you want to be able to freeze just a row or a column and not have it doing both, then to freeze a row, like let's say when I scroll down and I'm looking at these columns, I'm like, okay, wait a second. Is this the first name column or the last name? Oh, I can't tell, but what if I can go ahead and freeze this row so when I scroll down, it's always visible. And when I freeze the row, it freezes everything above it. So to freeze just a row, you have to go ahead and select the cell in the first column. Because remember, it's going to freeze everything to the left of it and above it. Above it, that makes sense. We want to keep this frozen here. But to the left of it, since there's nothing there, there's nothing to freeze, so we don't have to worry about that. Then just come up here, click on Freeze Panes, go down to Freeze, and you can see, well, not here because I've got the bottom border, but over to the right it extends beyond it. So when I scroll down, I get down to row 50,000. Hey, I can still look and notice the column labels in 50,000 and say, okay, yeah, this is the first name, that's the last name. Very good. And then by the same token, let's go ahead and unfreeze that, and let's do it for column. So if I want to go ahead and freeze everything to the left of column D, so when I scroll over, I can have rate and gross right next to their names and not have to go, okay, Appleman, they're $835. No, wait, what row am I on? It's best when they're right next to each other, right? So to go ahead and to freeze everything from D over, I can't do it right now because I've got, well, cells A1 through I1 all merged. So let's go ahead and right click on that to unmerge it. Go down to Format Cells, Alignment, uncheck Merge Cells, click Okie dokie. Then the alignment is centered, so it's being cut off. So let's go ahead and go to the Home tab and say not center align, but left align. So now I can see it. So it lines it from the left and pushes it over. And then I can go ahead and select the top cell, the first row, row 1, for column D. So remember, it'll freeze everything to the left of it and above it. Since there's nothing above it, then we don't have to worry about it. It's just going to freeze everything over, so these three columns. Come back up here on the View tab, go to the Window group, Freeze Panes to freeze, and there we go. So you can see the line. When I go ahead and scroll over, I can get right to the rate and gross. And it's easier for me just to go ahead and say, okay, Bob Appleman is earning $44 plus an hour, and that's the gross he earned for that week. And then let's go ahead and unfreeze it. The other two options that you get when you click on Freeze Panes is you can freeze the top row, and the reason why it's there is because it's known as a header row. It's basically you put all your labels in row 1, so Excel can identify that those are the labels for the columns, but there's a way around that, and I don't put my labels in the header row. I put them down below and change the formatting thereof so Excel can identify it that way. We'll talk about that in later training videos. So by default it's there if you want to freeze the top row if all your labels are in the top row. And you can also freeze the first column. So when you do that, well, there you go. You can see the line for the first column. So when I scroll over, I don't know why I would do it in this database. Maybe it's for a random drawing and saying, okay, hey, I don't know who this is, but number 30, you won 50 grand. Oh, wait a second, you're earning too much. Let's find somebody less. Okay, you've earned 50 grand, so I can be biased that way and not by their names. And we'll go ahead and unfreeze. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel, get notified of the latest videos, and for only $2 a month, you can have access to all my Microsoft Office training videos.